Ever wondered how the world's biggest stars overcame their toughest beginnings? Let's explore the incredible stories of 20 celebs who thrived despite growing up in foster care situations. Please like, share, subscribe, and rock that notification bell. Eddie Murphy's comedic brilliance was forged in adversity. His early years were marked by his parents' divorce and his father's death, leading him and his brother into foster care. This challenging period cultivated Eddie's distinctive humor, enabling him to find joy amidst hardship. Seal's journey to fame was marked by a challenging start. After being placed in foster care in Essex at birth, he reconnected with his biological parents only to face an abusive environment. Despite these trials, Seal's perseverance led to over 30 million albums sold and multiple awards. Hollywood's icon Marilyn Monroe had a turbulent childhood. With a mother who struggled with mental health and an absent father, Marilyn spent time in an orphanage and with a family friend. Her early hardships fueled her drive, propelling her to become a legendary figure in cinema. Steve Jobs' path to becoming a tech pioneer began with a rocky start. After being adopted shortly after birth due to his parents' inability to marry, he experienced brief foster care before finding stability with his adoptive parents. These early experiences were crucial in shaping his groundbreaking innovations. Before becoming the iconic James Bond, Pierce Brosnan faced a turbulent childhood. Left in his grandparents' care at age 4, he lost them both by 6, leading to a childhood filled with instability and moving between relatives. These hardships shaped the resilience that would eventually catapult him to fame. John Lennon's early life was riddled with challenges that fueled his legendary music career. Born during World War II, he endured his parents' separation and the emotional turmoil that followed. Raised by his Aunt Mimi, these experiences deeply influenced the complex emotions reflected in his music. British actor Neil Morrissey's childhood took a dramatic turn when he and his brother were abruptly placed in separate children's homes. Years later, he discovered the chaotic home life that led to their removal, a revelation that profoundly shaped his character and career. Coco Chanel, originally Gabrielle Bonheur, transformed her life of adversity into a legacy. After losing her mother at 12 and being sent to a convent orphanage, she endured hardship and strict discipline. From these humble beginnings, she emerged as one of the most influential fashion icons of the 20th century. Country music legend Willie Nelson's early life was marked by abandonment. Left in the care of his grandparents by both parents. These trials fueled the compassionate nature and heartfelt lyrics that resonate in his music, showcasing a journey of triumph over adversity. Barry Keoghan's early years were marked by extreme instability, moving through 13 foster homes over 7 years. Despite this, his determination led him to discover acting at 16. Capturing the attention of top directors and rising to stardom in films like Saltburn and The Banshees of Inisherin. Sandra Bullock's childhood involved navigating the complexities of foster care after her parents separated. Despite the early instability, Sandra's incredible resilience and talent propelled her to become one of Hollywood's most beloved and versatile actresses, turning her challenging beginnings into a story of triumph. Ice-T's journey began with heartbreak as he lost both parents and had no immediate family to care for him. Shuffled between relatives, he found himself under the care of different aunts, a reality that shaped his resilience and determination. Before Jamie Foxx became a household name, he was adopted at 7 months old by his maternal grandparents, Estelle and Mark Talley. In his memoir, Act Like You Got Some Sense, Foxx reveals how his grandparents stepped in when his mother wasn't ready to parent. Raised in Texas by his loving and strict grandmother, Foxx attributes much of his success to the strong foundation she provided. Cher's life started with challenges. Her mother, Georgia, separated from her father while pregnant, struggling to make ends meet through singing gigs and small acting roles. At just 2 years old, Cher was placed in foster care due to her mother's illness. However, with the support of her grandmother, Cher eventually returned to her mother's care, setting the stage for her future stardom. Simone Biles, often hailed as the greatest gymnast of all time, had a difficult beginning. Moving between various foster homes with her younger sister, Biles found stability only when her grandparents adopted them. She credits their unwavering support for her incredible achievements in gymnastics. Country music sensation Faith Hill's life could have taken a very different path if not for her adoption as an infant. Though deeply grateful to her adoptive parents, Hill sought out her biological mother later in life. Meeting her birth mother for the first time was a profound experience, one that filled a void and gave her a new perspective on her roots. Lorraine Pascal spent her first 18 months in foster care, but this early experience didn't hold her back. She went on to achieve great success in television and even created a BBC program, Fostering in Me, which shared her journey and inspired countless young girls with big dreams. James Dean, one of the most iconic actors of the 1950s, also had ties to foster care. After his mother's death when he was just 9, Dean's father relocated to Indiana, where his aunt became his primary caregiver. Despite his brief film career, Dean's legacy remains powerful to this day. Scott Shriver, who faced the hardships of foster care, channeled his early struggles into strength. Overcoming a turbulent childhood, Scott went on to inspire countless others, proving that even the most challenging beginnings can lead to a life of purpose and success. Wendy's founder Dave Thomas was adopted as a child, a life experience that fueled his passion for helping foster children find permanent homes. In 1992, he established the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, a testament to his lifelong commitment to making a difference in the foster care system. Wendy's continues to support this cause, advocating for children across North America. Earl Simmons, the powerhouse later known as DMX, endured a childhood marred by relentless challenges. Asthma attacks, abandonment, and abuse were his constant companions, forcing him to navigate life's toughest streets. Homeless at just 14, he struggled with addiction but channeled his anguish into electrifying lyrics penned during his time behind bars. Soon, he transitioned from street performances to commanding the nightclub scene, emerging as a rap sensation with records flying off the shelves. Leonardo DiCaprio's rise from a rough neighborhood in Los Angeles to Hollywood stardom is nothing short of remarkable. Raised by a single mother, DiCaprio's early years were marked by the harsh realities of his surroundings: crime, drug abuse, and a troubling local prostitution ring. After his parents' separation, young Leo found stability in the home of his maternal grandparents, who became his primary caregivers. Despite the instability, he channeled his experiences into a passionate drive for acting. Tina Turner's childhood was marked by trauma, as she witnessed her mother's abuse and eventual escape from an abusive relationship, leaving Tina and her sisters behind. When Tina was just 11 years old, her mother fled, and soon after, her father remarried and abandoned them. The sisters were left with their grandmother, who passed away when Tina was 16, leaving them to face life's challenges alone. Later, she met Ike Turner at Club Manhattan and quickly joined his band, the Kings of Rhythm. Within a short time, they produced a hit, and the Ike and Tina Turner Revue was born. After escaping years of abuse, Tina stepped into the spotlight on her own, earning the global title of the Queen of Rock and Roll. Jack Nicholson grew up believing his grandparents were his parents, only discovering later that his sister was actually his mother. Raised in New Jersey, Nicholson's early life in kinship care shaped the man who would later become a legendary actor. Trent Reznor, the mastermind behind 9 Inch Nails, was raised by his grandparents after his parents' divorce. Despite the challenges of a split family, Reznor channeled his experiences into groundbreaking music that defined a generation. Ray Liotta, star of Goodfellas, was placed in foster care shortly after birth due to his biological parents' financial struggles. He was adopted by a loving Italian family who gave him his name and a sister, helping him grow into the accomplished actor he would later become. Eartha Kitt's journey from a turbulent childhood in South Carolina foster care to Harlem's harsh streets didn't stop her from becoming an iconic performer. Despite early rejection and abuse, she rose to fame with a career spanning singing, acting, and writing. Abandoned by both parents at a young age, George Lopez found solace and guidance in his maternal grandparents, who became his steadfast guardians. Their unwavering support shaped the comedian's resilience and fueled his rise to stardom. Before Sylvester Stallone became a Hollywood legend, he and his brother Frank endured a turbulent childhood in foster homes, the result of his parents' tumultuous marriage. Their early struggles laid the foundation for Sylvester's iconic tough guy persona. Long before becoming Bruce Springsteen's right-hand man in the E Street Band, Stevie Van Zandt was just a kid bouncing around the foster care system. It was in those tough times that Stevie discovered his love for music, a passion that offered solace and eventually carved his path to stardom. His journey from foster care to rock royalty is a testament to his unwavering spirit and talent. Carol Burnett's childhood was a whirlwind of hardship, raised by her eccentric grandmother in a cramped studio apartment. Despite their poverty and her grandmother's quirky ways, Burnett's tenacity led her to become a comedy icon. The powerhouse frontman of Metallica, James Hetfield, didn't always have the fame and glory. His childhood was marked by the hardships of foster care, where he learned resilience and the strength that would later fuel his rise to rock legend status. Every challenge in those days sharpened the edge of his music, giving his powerful voice a raw, authentic intensity. Frances McDormand's journey began in Illinois, where she was adopted by a compassionate Canadian couple. Raised in Pittsburgh's suburbs, their nurturing environment set the stage for her illustrious acting career. Ella Fitzgerald faced a harsh start in life, losing her mother and enduring abuse from her stepfather. Her struggles led her from an orphanage to homelessness. But her unbreakable spirit ultimately crowned her the Queen of Jazz. Michael Bay, the mastermind behind blockbuster hits like Transformers and Armageddon, owes much of his success to his adoptive parents, Harriet and Jim. With their support, he turned his childhood fascination with film into a career that has grossed over $5 billion globally. Orphaned by the age of 9, blues legend Bessie Smith was raised by her older sister after the tragic loss of both parents, shaping the resilience and soul that would later define her powerful music. After losing her mother at age 4 and being abandoned by her father, Barbara Stanwyck endured a tough childhood in foster homes. Despite these challenges, she rose to become one of Hollywood's most enduring stars. Born to a teenage mother and abandoned by her father, Billie Holiday's early life was filled with hardship. Raised by her half-sister, she later channeled her struggles into a legendary jazz career that resonated with raw emotion. Born into a prominent political family, Tallulah Bankhead faced the loss of her mother shortly after birth and was raised by her grandparents. Despite these challenges, she went on to become a captivating and unconventional star of stage and screen. Jazz legend Louis Armstrong, celebrated as one of the greatest trumpet players in history, faced a challenging childhood. Sent to live with various relatives in New Orleans, his talent eventually led him to become a global icon in jazz music. Country star Tim McGraw's childhood was a whirlwind of confusion and revelation. Raised in Louisiana, he discovered at age 11 that his stepfather wasn't his biological dad, but baseball legend Tug McGraw. After years of estrangement, Tim and Tug forged a strong bond, deeply influencing Tim's drive for a stable family life. Before hitting it big in music, Pitbull faced a rough upbringing in Roswell, Georgia, plagued by drugs, abuse, and a fractured family. Kicked out as a teen, he channeled his hardships into resilience, emerging as a global music sensation with over 25 million albums sold and countless hits across the globe. Actor Keegan-Michael Key's journey is a testament to resilience. Adopted at birth and raised in Detroit, he faced early family disruptions but formed strong ties with his adoptive family. A heartfelt reunion with his birth mother at 25 underscored his belief in the power of family beyond biological connections and how adoption can be a powerful and positive force. Comedy legend Richard Pryor's early life was marred by hardship and unconventional circumstances. Raised in a brothel and abandoned by his mother, Pryor's turbulent childhood deeply influenced his raw, groundbreaking comedy, which often mirrored the struggles he faced growing up. Courtney Love's chaotic early years were marked by physical and emotional abuse, frequent relocations, and instability. After her parents' tumultuous split and her mother's move to New Zealand, Courtney returned to the U.S. at 9, living with her stepfather. This turbulent past shaped her rebellious and intense public persona. Maya Angelou's early years were filled with hardship and resilience. After her parents' separation, she lived with her grandmother in Arkansas, facing racial discrimination and trauma. Despite these challenges, Angelou emerged as a prominent figure in the 1950s, launching her career with Porgy and Bess and her debut album, Miss Calypso. Truman Capote, raised in Monroeville, Alabama by relatives after his unstable parents' separation, found an early passion for writing. By 8, he was already devoted to his craft, leading to his acclaimed works, including the short story Miriam and the novel Other Voices, Other Rooms, which solidified his place as a literary icon. Chad L. Coleman's challenging youth in Richmond, Virginia, included time in foster care before being raised by his grandmother. He redirected his struggles into sports and drama, later serving in the U.S. Army and eventually earning fame as an actor, notably in HBO's The Wire and TNT's Monday Night Mayhem. Nancy Reagan, originally Anne Frances Robbins, spent her early years with relatives in Maryland after her parents split. Her journey from an actress in Hollywood during the 1940s and 50s to First Lady of the United States in 1981 showcases her remarkable transformation and influence. Stevie Van Zandt's journey from foster care to rock legend with Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band highlights his resilience. His formative years in the foster system ignited a lifelong passion for music, shaping his stellar career and contributions to rock. Adopted by Alan and Sue Dick, Andy's early life was marked by frequent relocations due to his father's Navy career. His high school years in Chicago saw him gain attention as homecoming king, leading to a successful comedic career that began with The Ben Stiller Show. Anita Baker, abandoned at 2 and raised by a foster mother in Detroit, faced adversity from a young age. Despite losing her foster mother at 13, her extraordinary musical talent shone through, propelling her to fame with the band Chapter 8 and hits like I Just Wanna Be Your Girl. Vidal Sassoon's legendary hairstyling career began in London's orphanages, where he spent 7 years in poverty. Leaving school at 14, he worked various jobs before becoming a revolutionary hairdresser. His innovative 5-point cut and global brand transformed the hairstyling industry. Gene Siskel, who lost both parents young and was raised by his aunt and uncle, used his experiences with anti-Semitism and his sharp wit to become a beloved film critic. His thumbs up or thumbs down reviews left an indelible mark on American pop culture. Kirk Franklin rose from a challenging childhood in Fort Worth, Texas, where he was raised by his aunt after being abandoned by his mother. Despite facing bullying and a learning disorder, his musical talent shone through, leading him to revolutionize gospel music with his groundbreaking sound. From the Bronx foster care system, Grandmaster Flash turned his fascination with electronics into a hip-hop revolution. His innovative use of turntables and drum solos reshaped the genre, setting the stage for the future of hip-hop music. Charlene Tilton's turbulent childhood, marked by her mother's breakdowns and frequent foster home moves, didn't stop her from achieving stardom. By the age of 8, she was living independently and later became famous for her role in Dallas. Antoine Fisher, who faced abandonment and cruelty in foster care, found hope in the Navy and eventually turned his life story into the memoir Finding Fish. His book inspired the film Antoine Fisher, showcasing his remarkable journey from hardship to Hollywood. Harold Robbins, abandoned as an infant and adopted by a Jewish family, became a best-selling novelist despite his rocky start. His experiences, reflected in novels like A Stone for Danny Fisher, highlighted his rise from adversity to literary success. Adopted shortly after birth, Edward Albee's feeling of alienation fueled his creativity, making him a renowned playwright. His works, such as The Zoo Story and The American Dream, challenged societal norms and secured his place as a critical voice in American theater. Keisha Cole's journey through foster care after her mother's struggles with drug addiction shaped her into a powerful advocate for foster youth. Her reality series, Keisha Cole, The Way It Is, highlighted her upbringing, and she continues to inspire with her music, collaborating with stars like Remy Ma and French Montana. Malcolm X's early life was marked by tragedy, from the loss of his father to his mother's institutionalization, leading him to foster care. Despite dropping out of school due to racial discrimination, his time in prison sparked his transformation into one of the most powerful voices for Black empowerment and self-reliance. Born after his father's death, Bill Clinton grew up with an abusive stepfather. Despite this turbulent childhood, he found mentorship in school, which led him to Washington as a delegate for Boys Nation, setting the stage for his future in public service. Oprah Winfrey's early life in rural Mississippi was filled with hardship, including poverty, abuse, and the loss of her infant child. Defying the odds, she rose to become one of the most influential media figures in history, turning her pain into power. Orphaned at 12, LL Bean overcame early struggles and hardship to build a legacy as the founder of one of America's iconic outdoor brands. His passion for the outdoors and entrepreneurial spirit shone through even in his youth, paving the way for his success. A Holocaust survivor, Dr. Ruth Westheimer's early life was marked by tragedy, losing her family to the Nazis. Escaping through the Kindertransport to Switzerland, she eventually pursued psychology in Paris and New York. Her breakthrough came in 1980 with a radio show on sex education, transforming her into a media sensation with a series of successful TV and radio programs. NBA star Alonzo Mourning's foster care journey began in his teens. Living in a group home gave him stability, and his foster mother's influence shaped him into the man he is today. Mourning acknowledges how fortunate he was, crediting foster care for keeping him from a more troubled path. Growing up, Tiffany Haddish faced the chaos of a violent post-accident mother. Foster care provided an escape, though it also separated her from her siblings. Through the hardship of moving from home to home with her belongings in trash bags, Haddish found her strength and independence, eventually emancipating herself and embarking on a successful career. Legendary rapper Daryl McDaniels of Run DMC didn't learn of his foster care past until he was 35. This life-altering discovery led him to create the Felix organization and Camp Felix, offering enriching experiences and summer camps for foster children, helping them find joy and purpose. Orphaned and raised by her grandmother, Eleanor Roosevelt grew up insecure, believing she was an ugly duckling. Despite this, she found her path through education and activism, becoming a defining figure as First Lady, and using her influence to champion social causes and reshape the role of women in politics. Born into a poor sharecropping family in South Carolina, Jesse Jackson took his stepfather's surname at 15 and graduated from a Black college before studying at the Chicago Theological Seminary. Ordained just 2 months after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, Jackson became a powerful voice for civil rights. Adopted by a widow in Pennsylvania, James Michener grew up with little but developed a love for books, which sparked his passion for adventure. Hitchhiking across the country as a teen, his life led him to Hawaii, where he wrote the bestseller, Hawaii, making him a literary sensation. Despite not knowing his birth parents, Michener's legacy as a storyteller continues to inspire. Samantha Morton endured the struggles of foster care and personal trauma, including childhood abuse that was tragically ignored by authorities. At 16, she took control of her life and moved to London to chase her dreams of acting. Her resilience and determination made her a critically acclaimed actress despite the challenges she faced growing up. After his parents separated, Gerald Ford was raised by his mother in Michigan. An Eagle Scout and future president, Ford's journey from Boy Scout to Commander-in-Chief was historic. He became the only person to assume the U.S. presidency without being elected, taking office following Nixon's resignation, though he narrowly lost re-election in 1976. Fleeing poverty in Warsaw, Sam Goldwyn's journey from a penniless glove maker to a Hollywood legend is nothing short of cinematic. Arriving in America with ambition, he rose to co-found several major movie studios and produced Hollywood's first big motion picture, forever cementing his place as a pioneer in the film industry. Raised in a turbulent environment, Harry Ellison was shaped by his love for comic books and science fiction. After losing his father, he found a new purpose, joining the Cleveland Science Fiction Society. His experience with a Brooklyn gang became the foundation for his debut novel, Rumble, in 1958, bringing his gritty past to life. Facing a life of poverty and apartheid, Nelson Mandela defied expectations by running away from home to pursue justice in Johannesburg. His fight against apartheid led to 27 years in prison. But Mandela's vision of unity for South Africa inspired global change. Upon his release, he championed peace and reconciliation, becoming a global symbol of hope. Losing his father young and growing up in an orphanage, Thomas Monahan turned challenges into opportunity. Inspired by his faith, Monahan and his brother bought a small pizza store, which they grew into Domino's Pizza, now a global brand, through sheer determination and resilience. Victoria Rao, best known for her role in The Young and the Restless, spent her first 18 years in foster care, entering the system at just 2 weeks old with her sisters. Though adopted during elementary school, she felt true freedom much later, sharing that it wasn't until age 43, as a mother of 2, that she truly set herself free. Her journey of resilience and independence shines through her story. Orphaned by the age of 6, Herbert Hoover's early life was marked by hardship. Sent to live with relatives, he eventually worked his way through school while living in the barracks of construction workers. Despite these challenges, he rose to become the first U.S. president born west of the Mississippi. Isn't it incredible how far these stars have come? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.